Hey, it's your girl Lomzy. My name is Uloma Ezike. You're welcome back to my channel, Lomzy Sews. Today, I am going to be sharing with you guys how to make handkerchief dress without a waist cutting. So let's start with the tutorial. Today, the measurements we're going to be using is bust 44, waist 36, shoulder measurement 16 inches, dress length 41 inches, then the armhole depth we're using 9 inches. Amount of fabric I'm using is actually 3 yards and I have folded it in 4. The lines I have imputed here, I'm going to be showing you how I got them. The first line I have here is the length of the dress, which is 41, and I have added 1 inch sewing allowance there, making it 42 inches. The next length you're seeing here is the armhole length. That is what I have here, 9 inches. Another measurement I have here is the waist length. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is to get the body measurement, and the body measurement we're using is the fullest part of the body. And this dress is not going down to fit on the hips, so the measurement we're needing is the fullest part of the body, which is the bust. And the bust we're using is 44, and we have to divide that by 4. We have 11 inches. 44 divided by 4 will be 11 inches, and I have to add easing allowance and sewing allowance to this. The easing allowance we're using is 1/2 inch, and the sewing allowance I'm using is 1/2 inch, so that is 1 inch, right? Yeah, so 11 plus 1 will give me 12, so I will mark 12 here. I don't like using 1 inch sewing allowance. I like to use 1/2 inch sewing allowance because it makes my job neat. But people complain that what if they add their what if they increase in size? How do they adjust it? You don't increase in size every 2 seconds, and if you increase in size, by that time you'll be changing your wardrobe. So why don't you get a neat sewing and than rather get one fits all in one? So I'm using 1/2 inch as my sewing allowance, and on the waist I am going to be dividing the waist by 4. The waist we are using is 36 inches. Divided by 4 will give us 9 inches, and I'm going to be adding 2 inches to that. 2 inches, 1/2 is for sewing allowance and 1.5 is for easing. So I will add that here, which will be 11 inches. I add that here, and I'm going to be connecting this to this like this. Yes, so the next thing I will want to do is to get the shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement we're using is 16 inches. I divide that by 2, I will get 8 inches, and then I add 1/2 inch sewing allowance, which will make it 8.5, and I mark that here. And I'm going to also mark it on the shoulder or the armhole length, 8.5 inches, and I connect that here like that. So the next thing you have to get is the neck depth and the neck width. The neck width we are working with is 3.5 inches because I don't want it too close, so I'm going to be marking that there. This is the neck width. Then the neck depth for the back I'm using is 1 inch, and I'm going to be marking that there. I will connect this to this. This material is, so the next one I'm getting is the front neck curve. I will mark that there, and I'm going to be connecting that with this one. If you don't understand anything, do ask me in the comment section. I will be there to answer you. So now the next thing you do is to bring down 1 inch shoulder sloping, so you mark it there and you connect it with this neck here. Yeah. Then the next thing you are going to do is to get the armhole curve. For you to get that, you divide from this shoulder sloping to the armhole depth. Whatever you get, divide that by 2, and that's the midpoint. So what we have here is 8.5. We divide that by 2, we will have 4.25, and I will mark that there like that. And I'm going to be connecting this and this, connecting it with the armhole curve like so. Yeah. So you know this is handkerchief dress. So the next thing we're going to be doing now is to determine the shape of the handkerchief. So what we are going to be doing here is just basically coming up like 2 inches like this. You come up 2 inches, 2 inches, and you connect these 2 lines like that. Yeah, so you have this curve here like that. And so we are going to be cutting this out like so. Yeah, so let me cut that out and show you. If this is your first time watching my video, do subscribe to my channel because I upload detailed sewing tutorials and trending designs every week. And to my returning subscribers, you guys are the best. Thank you very much for always supporting my video. If you want to join my online class where I teach for beginners and advanced class, I'll be dropping my link in the description section below. So you go ahead and check me out and connect with me. My social media handles are Lomzy Sews and at Lomzy1. The 2 of them are on Facebook and Instagram. So go check me out and tag me if you have any pictures you want to share with me. This is for the back. Now I'm going to be cutting the front neck. So I just remove this back, put it back in place again, and then cut it out. So we're going to be cutting for the sleeve now. This is what you have. So the round arm we're going to be using is 16 inches, and I'm going to be dividing that by 2, which will give me 8 inches. And I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches, 1 yard for easing allowance, and 1/2 inch for sewing allowance. So that will give me 9.5 inches. That is how I got this. So the next thing I have to do is to get the length of the sleeve. I'll be using 14 inches, and I will add 1 inch sewing allowance, which will make it 15. So that's what I have here. So I'm going to be marking that here like that. So the next thing I have to do is to take down 5 inches, which is standard. I take that down and I mark it. So I am going to be connecting this line from here to here diagonally, and I mark it. What I have here is 11 inches, so the half of it I will mark it. I'm marking this so that I get my sleeve head measurement, sleeve head curve. So with this being here, I am going to be connecting this like that, passing through this. And I will go under and pass through this also. So if you want the sleeve fitted, you can come in a bit, but before you do that, you have to fold in your hemming allowance. I have 1 inch, so I'm going to be folding that in here like that, and then I take in my shaping at 1.5 inches, cutting it out like that. So that's it, guys.